I'm still, just keep your eyes out. Look to the sky when you go outside, because my dick's in orbit ever since that animated Spider-Man trailer.
Oh yeah,
it is in the sky. It is circling Earth.
If you see it at 4,800 hours, if you peer through it with a certain kind of glasses that give you access to a certain
doesn't hurt your eyes.
certain level of vision.
So it sounds like the Spider-Man trailer is the worst thing that ever happened to you.
No.
Yeah. No. Please help! My dick is in orbit. We don't know how to get it down.
It's cold up there.
The government wants to blow it up for violating national airspace.
Yeah, I definitely took down several hundred satellites. It was going fast.
So if you live in Murfreesboro and you do not have 4G service, it's my dick's fault. Sorry about that.
Okay, I fucking love it. I literally, like, beginning to end. Doesn't happen often, especially recently, where, like, so even Infinity War, as much as I was defending that trailer, it's not a great trailer, but I was defending that it was exciting me, and I think it does what it wants. But this, the whole time, I kept going, oh no. Fucking walks up. First of all, snow in a Spider-Man movie, pack me up and send me away.
That's
because
cool.
That is the
I'll give you
dopest
that's cool.
shit. I've been waiting. That he's always, what is it always? It's always like
Summertime.
fucking
Always
summer. It's always
spring
sunny
yeah.
New York. I'm ready for snow. I'm ready for death. Peter Parker's dead. He literally, there's a shot in this animated Spider-Man movie
his grave.
of Miles Morales walking up to a grave that says Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Fuck me upside down in the rain.
Yes.
Because that is the best. I love the frame. People are weird on the frame rate. I'm seeing it comes in and out because some people are very, and I am squarely in the it's sick as hell camp, but there are people who it's turning people off the frame rate.
So I'm like,
Well, it's not even the frame rate. It's the style it's animated in.
I'm in the middle because on paper I should love that. Like when it's almost like the Genndy Tartakovsky thing.
Sort of, yeah, sure.
But
yeah.
I don't like the inconsistency of it. I wish it was just kind of like choppy, stop motion-y looking all the way through. Maybe
It is.
No, because there's a very, very fluid scene. Even that last shot where it's like I feel like it's really fluid, and then when he takes the mask off, it gets choppy.
Nah, dude. Frame by frame that shit.
Really?
Okay, because I have. All right, listen. I did nothing yesterday. No, it's true that they have their shots where he's in the air like that. Where there's a couple things happening. The faux 2D style is fucking with people's eyes for sure, because it is sort of like not trying to it's trying to look like comic frame. Like if you take a screenshot from a part of that trailer and really look at it, my phone background right now is Peter and Miles talking to each other, and it looks like it was a painting or like a panel from something. It's fucking nuts. I don't know how they do that stuff. And when the stuff's out of focus, they do like almost like a 3D thing that you don't have your glasses on for. Like out of focus stuff isn't out of focus. It's just like doubled with a couple colors. It's super fucking cool.
It's definitely stylistically one of the most interesting animated movies I've seen in a very, very long time. And I'm in the camp of people that it does kind of mess with.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm blown away by the style, but I love the risk of doing that with Spider-Man, where they could have easily just been like a very normal, shiny, well-polished CG movie, and instead they're doing something radically different.
Right, it could have been Boss Baby. That's that's what I was assuming it was going to be. And I was
wish
excited
it looked like Boss Baby.
because
that would have been. That's the best movie.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I'm sure I still would have liked it because I like Spider-Man. I like when he's swinging around and doing stuff. But like, my socks were knocked off.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I was getting at was the two things that I think are happening is the they put things on like twos, the frames. So if you like scrub through, there are times where he's in the same position for two frames. That's a lot. 2D animation does that a lot. So it gives you. It's the thing is that in 3D there's always movement on every frame, and there's motion blur.
Right.
So they're like tangled or frozen or whatever. You know what I mean? They don't have that. This is animated as if they were drawing every frame, but instead they're working with a 3D model.
See, that's interesting. If you probably haven't seen this, but well, maybe if you've seen clips from the new Dragon Ball Z game or Guilty Gear, it's a very similar style of animation.
3D models, but they're animating them
like it's 2D,
exactly.
and which I think is extremely interesting. And I mean, those games in particular, Arc System Works, they go through great pains to make them look like 2D sprites.
Yeah.
This doesn't quite look, they're not trying to murk it and make you think it's a 2D movie.
No.
But it definitely takes cues from that sort of style, and it's fucking fascinating.
I
But again,
just can't
I don't
believe
know
it.
how much I love the way it looks.
I think it's
don't like it played out.
I think when you're watching a movie, when you're sitting and it's the movie's happening,
You get into it.
You're gonna be fine. I think
Yeah.
it's interesting when it's broken up
Right.
by titles every shot.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
see him falling really quickly, and then all of a sudden it cuts to black and stuff. You're sort of like hyper aware of the.
I mean, I'm totally for 3D animation moving in this direction because I think it needs to get interesting again because it's really. I mean, that's why like the Hotel Transylvania films are like
Yeah,
my favorite 3D animated films.
yeah, they look really cool.
Funny.
I also don't love that Sony. I don't know. This is getting a little conspiratorial, but we were kind of talking about this yesterday, where they're riding that line of in a world where more than one can wear the mask, where they're kind of establishing
Yeah,
and
right.
that they say that immediately right before revealing Miles Morales,
Right.
which can be read as like, okay, look, Miles is also Spider-Man. Like we're introducing this new character, but it could also be like he's not replacing Peter Parker. Everything's fine.
Yeah, they make a paint in all the press release, all the things that announce this trailer. It all says where more than one wears the mask, and I get because they're doing Spider-Verse, so I understand that. But there was
Yeah.
something that felt a little bit like they were padding for an impact that I don't think that they should.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
not, there's not going to be a fucking cartoon Spider-Man showing up in the Homecoming series.
No, but I think they're more being like.
They're talking
Okay,
about Miles Morales. It's
he's
about the fact
not-
that he's a black person.
Right.
Oh, that's
not
really
just-
it? That's
we're-
all people...
I don't.
Well, no.
I
I think what they're doing is padding for a possible retraction from fans going like, "Oh, here we go. We're replacing now. Spider-Man's got to be a black guy." Like they're trying to, they're trying to brace for that, but also play to the crowd of like, "Look, we're doing Miles Morales."
should have just done it though. Like,
Which
here's-
that's the most. That makes perfect sense from like a company's point of view. Like, let's not rock the boat here. We want to do Miles to
Right.
appeal to people, but we want them to know that we're not like, replacing
Forgetting
white
Peter
men.
Parker. Sure, but that's exactly like that shouldn't be a feeling at all. But like, because I'm split down the set where this is what we were talking about yesterday, where it was like there's the part of me that goes, it's not annoying. I could never say I'm annoyed by any part of this, but it did make me a little like cringy with them having to drill in that it's like he's not the only Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
it's definitely-
like relax. He's
It's
not.
very sad they
and
need
that
this-
kind of and maybe this is me. We're just being hyper. Like we're assuming that they're being
I don't
bad
think so
or that
because I
people are
think
gonna.
with right now, I think that they're very well aware of the climate, or they should be if they're good marketing people. And I do think that it is like a multi-layered thing where
Yeah.
it is like a subtle suggestion. I don't think that we're thinking too crazy.
Yeah. But then so it's like there's me being like I kind of wish that like how interesting if they just did do a Miles movie where it was just
Right.
Miles. But then there's the part of me that wants to buy every Spider-Man
Yeah.
toy.
All
And
the
so
action
I'm like,
figures.
oh, but I want to see a bunch of different Spider-Mans.
Yep.
And I like that's and this is we were talking about this too. It's like there is every part of this shouldn't be shocking that they're doing it. Like it all makes perfect sense. They're gonna make a lot of money, and there's gonna be toys for it, and it's gonna. I mean, this cracking open the Spider-Verse, considering this is the only, arguably right. It's like their main big property
Yeah,
at
it's
Sony.
pretty much
Right?
all
What,
they
what
got.
else do
Yeah.
they got? Jumanji coming out, right? That's Sony.
It's not a huge property, though.
Uncharted, which is a video game property they're trying to turn into a film property.
But it's like I can really feel like they're like, oh, we gotta hold on to Spidey,
Right.
and they were smart to jump on the Marvel train and play nice. Like that's all very smart. But then like when you really think about that, this major studio Spider-Man movie is about a universe where Peter Parker's dead and Peter Parker from a different universe coming over and explaining to Miles that he's part of this larger web of Spider-Man, and there's a bunch of Spider-Man, and we're gonna get Spider-Gwen, and I for some reason the fact that this movie exists is rocking
Right.
my dome.
Well, the thing I think is the cognitive dissonance for me is that this would be a $10 million straight to DVD movie very easily. I can
Yeah.
see it as like one of the
right.
Thor versus Hulks.
Yeah,
Or,
totally.
remember they did a couple of those a few years ago. The fact that this is like presumably like $120 million budget animated blockbuster film, that's what's fucking really rocking my dick, because it also kind of feels like it's a little late in the game almost.
For
We talk
Spider-Verse?
about for like a new universe. I mean, it's very exciting as Spider-Man fans.
Right.
But we talk about the bubble bursting all the time, and now here's this big ambitious project from Sony. But I think it might work because it is animated.
And because of how bonkersly different it
Yes.
looks from everything else.
Yes, absolutely.
Are they going to have
patently different?
Are they going to have 2 Spider-Man? I mean, we assume if this does well, there's going to be sequels because that's just the way everything
Yes.
is now. So, do you think they're going to have 2 Spider-Man franchises running concurrently?
Yeah, and I don't think that they'll be confused at all.
No, I mean, I'm not worried about people getting confused. I'm worried about people getting fatigued.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I genuinely think that if it's good, it's good. Like,
Because the
just make the
cartoons are
stuff good.
different. Like the cartoons will always be different. And it won't have that same Marvel swagger, or it'll be a lot more geared towards quote unquote kids or like a young adult audience, kind of like TMNT or whatever or something. I'm imagining
Weird one.
something kind of like that. No, but like that was a really good movie.
The animated one.
Yes, I
It is
remember
good.
really liking it.
Yeah.
But it's like that's kind of like a cartoon style geared towards young adults, but everybody can kind of go and dig that movie.
Yeah.
Whereas the Marvel movies definitely feel very solidly PG-13, right? Mm-hmm.
I love how I think it's so.
It's
I just
interesting.
love how it looks. Him swinging up of that last shot where he's like flailing through the air before he lands on the building and takes the mask off. Like,
I like his expressive eyes.
I'm shocked at that. That's
Oh yeah,
him.
Expressive.
in the mask, I like that is something that I do like. I like when the eyes.
He's got
move.
big eyes, which is my
Got
favorite.
the big
kind of
ass eyes,
Spider-Man.
dude.
Big ass.
And I like it in this. I'm usually a fan of the small spite, like at least the whites being small.
Right.
God, wait. I'm sorry. Tangent. Speaking of big eyes, did you guys watch the trailer for Alita: Battle Angel?
No.
Yeah, I saw it.
What the fuck, man?
What is that?
Yeah, what's that movie?
It's the new
about?
Robert Rodriguez, James Cameron movie. I guess I think it's based off like an anime. It's about like this android girl who's like she like fucking fight. It's in the future. She's a battle angel. She fights other androids. But
Tim likes all this.
Yeah, but Tim,
Tim's
here's the
losing his
thing.
mind.
Here's the thing.
Keep going.
So she looks photorealistic. This movie is like CG characters and real life actors. She looks photorealistic, except they gave her big deformed anime eyes. And she's the only robot that looks like that.
Well, she's entirely animated.
Yeah, she's entirely in, but not
That's what's
ridiculously.
Weird.
so.
But that's what was weird to me about watching this was like I was like, this is very much somewhere halfway between animated and live action. Like this is very like when she's jumping towards whatever the guy with the chains.
Yeah,
I was like, this looks like an anime. This looks like a PlayStation cutscene.
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe this is like a big gap in my knowledge. I've never even heard of this book.
I hadn't heard of it till the fucking trailer came out.
I
didn't even know what
remember
that was.
Alita
reading.
Battle Angel.
I remember reading that they were making this years ago, and I like forgot about
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was seeing. A lot of people seemed like they were waiting for this, or that this was rumor like a big.
Yeah.
Oh, they made it! Holy shit,
There
they
seems
did
to
it!
be like a lot of 46-year-old dudes that love to adapt anime from the very early 90s, because I guess when it was first breaking
Sure,
and they
yeah.
were in their 20s,
they
in
were
the
like,
early
"Oh, cool."
90s. Oh, we're gonna do a fucking Ghost in the Shell movie, dude. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
dude.
great.
It's like they did one. It was really good.
It's
Why are you
called
doing
The
it again?
Matrix.
Yeah.
You just wait for my Inspector Gadget film, friends. All right, because that shit's gonna rock you to your core.
You
It's
didn't
gonna be-
do
see. You
another
didn't
one?
see the other two.
Yeah,
you didn't
no,
see
they were good.
My Inspector Gadget is French in this straight to video sequel.
Place Broderick.
That's incredible.
It's great.
Holy shit.
I like though in the George of the Jungle sequel where the guy I don't know who the guy is, but there's in the beginning of it someone says something. And they're like, "You look kind of different, George." And he looks at the camera and goes, "That is because
It's like this is subversive.
I am 12 and what is this?" Yeah. That was really how I felt. I was like, "Wait, what are they doing?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, trailers rock, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do like trailers, and I
Do like trailers. I love trailers.
There's like an old.
When they tell the movie
There's an old.
from the preview, I like the trailers.
There's an old Dane Cook joke that I think actually really rings true. He's like, "Don't you wish you could just go to the movies and watch like an hour of trailers?" And I'm like, sometimes I do wish that a lot.
Wow.
I'd get bored. I mean, here's the thing: is like, and I know that's a joke, so it's stupid to talk
Go
about
to the
this.
internet and do that. Watch
It's
all
not the same,
trailers
but you
want.
don't have the treats and the people. You know what I mean?
Aw.
The treats and the people.
And
Are you
Is this
just
the
gonna-
Dane
is this-
Cook joke? Is this
No,
still the Dane Cook
no.
joke?
This is
They have
the-
all the treats and the people. I want to go to the internet.
sir, whatever he said. What he says, "Sir," very loudly.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a Dane Cook thing? I think that's a Dane Cook thing, right? He says "Sir" loud.
I'm not
Are you sure that's not your mom at a restaurant?
sir?
Sir, sir, sir.
You're right. I mix those two up all the time because my mom played Madison Square Garden 8 times.
She had to play that 8 times.
Something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. So are we gonna hit Ready Player One?
Yes.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
You might
is
as
pretty
well
much
do
a
it. You might
bonus
as well do it.
episode. Well, let's just run with
No,
it.
we'll get to where we are. We want that. We've got to talk about shapes and how they are with water.
Okay.
But ready. You guys.
Maybe we'll do an
You guys
extra big one.
are pretty squarely turned off by this trailer.
Ready
Not
Player
really
One?
into it.
Player One, right?
I just like his long ass leg on the poster.
Yeah, that's
to be
very funny.
perfectly honest.
That's
How
funny.
did that happen?
It's funny as
See,
hell.
it's
so funny.
It's incredible. It's like it's an optical illusion. You look at the poster,
it looks fine.
nothing is wrong.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you look at the leg, and then look at the poster again, and everything is wrong.
That's what they
There is
count on.
nothing.
Well, but what's crazy is I realize like it's an easy fix because that rung that he's standing on.
There's no reason it had to be that.
No, it's spaced further than the other ones. It's actually like it's deliberately in the wrong
You're gonna
place.
find out this was like a protest from that graphic
Yeah.
designer.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh fuck these guys! Like, I've had to do 120 of these."
It's just, he's stuffed under the desk. He's like, "Sir, I'm really tall. I don't have enough leg room. Could I please just like stretch out a little bit?" He's like, "No, you sit there with their long legs.
I
I'll
show
show
you the
them long legs. Stretch them out."
Did you see the one that was like of fucking Ty Sheridan or whatever, and it was like, guys, there's nothing wrong with his legs. Stop body shaming.
Yeah.
It's just him.
it's
with these
long
swinging
Ty.
Super long ass legs. Oh, but the trailer is I think what
It looks cool. See, you guys, and this is you guys were talking about it before I watched it. You were really making me worry, and because I've probably on this podcast said that I think Spielberg and Zemeckis are out of control. I think that they,
Yeah.
I think they are. Yeah.
When they were able to move the camera anywhere they wanted, they lost their minds, and they did. They
Yeah,
like moved
everywhere.
it anywhere they wanted.
into the core of the earth.
Right, but this. I mean, but then meanwhile, he's making Bridge of Spies. He's making, the
Post, sure.
So it's like, yeah, I understand. He hasn't gone away completely. But then, like, so you were making me worried. But then I liked that in this, they show you, we're gonna cut back and forth between him, like, standing in his trailer and in his room when he's in the Oasis.
Sure, but that's
and
not.
you're gonna see him react to being touched and everything.
It's not like we've seen that before though in virtual reality films.
What did I say? It was new. I know, but I just said that
But
it
what
was.
I'm-
I'm glad that it's not like we don't.
Pure CG. It's like let's just detach
Yeah.
from the humans.
No, but I
see
appreciate
what
that they're gonna be like, no. This is yes, we know that this is computer generated, and he's in a world. This isn't.
I guess my problem, but still, what is that world? My big thing with Ready Player One is you show me a trailer where fucking Tracer is cheering, Chucky punches a robot, the Battletoads are there.
This is what's annoying me, and now I can feel it already in me that by March I'm gonna be furious about this because it's almost fucking disgusting. Like. That's not what the movie's about, and I feel like everyone who's predisposed to dislike it is just attaching to. Oh, they put Freddy Krueger in a boat with the Pirates
But
of
what's
the
the movie
Caribbean.
about? What's the but because I think I know, but because also what the movie is about, like what's going on, what I've gotten from the I'm only 60 pages into the book. But the book is also the most like stock nothing vanilla young adult shit I've ever read in my life.
Look, so here's my issue with the trailer. You could easily take this movie as a grand love lever. It's the grand
Pull
love
the
lever.
love
When you
lever.
pull the lever, everyone cares about you.
Need
It's
one of
it's
those.
a grand love letter to nerddom, 80s, 90s fan culture in general, and it's kind of closing the book on it and kind of making it a more human. Hang on, I'm making a greater point
Yes.
here. Let me pull the love lever, and everyone's gonna dig this. And I think that we've seen that. I'm just so nauseated by love letters to 80s and 90s fan culture at this point. I feel like that's just all this last decade has pretty much been.
I agree.
And if this is the linchpin, this is the very end of them, okay, so be it. But for me, I've been off this train for a minute.
I think though the layer that's getting looked over is that a large part of, again, to what degree it is successful with this thematic element, I don't know, but a huge part about this is immersing yourself in a thing that is not real and deciding to live most of your life in a world that isn't the real world. You're disappearing. They're ignoring the fucking planet is falling
Right.
apart. Pollution is created. The city looks like a garbage heap, but everyone lives in their virtual space and they can run around and ride DeLoreans. So it's like this whole pop culture thing and the losing yourself. And I want to be Freddy Krueger. I want to be Tracer from Overwatch. That's all in favor of this theme of like,
Right.
oh, that's what all this stuff is, man. That's
probably
what
bad.
all of this was
Yeah, but-
like you lose yourself in the worlds of.
But the book and the movie it's trying to have its cake and eat it too, because he also does legitimately like that's Ernest
true.
Cline. That's all Ernest Cline is he's just what he likes.
But what's the
It
why?
is have
Why
your
are
cake
you
and
not
eat it
allowed
too.
to do wish fulfillment in the same time as condemn maybe like
because
a
then it makes me
nasty
not believe the message.
Well,
of
I
the-
don't
That's-
know.
that's- doesn't make
but
any
there's-
sense.
You're right, because it is ultimately a very cynical look. But I also think that it is right. So I bring up the Gundam argument all the time, where Gundam is about how war is bad, but for some reason, every 2 years they have a new series about kids fighting a war in a brand new cool fighting robot. It's
right.
like, and you've fallen into the same thing of being the military-industrial complex, where it's like, war is bad, but fuck, it makes us a lot of money.
So much money.
So it's kind of it's a very similar thing where, where you're saying that you're going into this virtual world and maybe subversing yourself in the concept of characters and pop culture, making that your identity is inherently a bad thing. But also, everybody who's done that, this movie's for you.
But the point of these things is to meet in the middle always. I talk about this a lot with the shit the stories I try to tell. Maybe it's why I feel defensive of something like this. Because spoilers, the ending of the movie is about how you shouldn't live in that kind of space. You got to be real life and be with your people who are real. So it's all leading to that reveal, but that doesn't mean you can't still lose yourself in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It's just you got to be like, oh, that's not the only shit in the world. You got to also be a real human. But you're allowed to have your fun while you're in there. You're allowed to drive the DeLorean down the street when you're in there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's like I'm annoyed at like...
Sure, I see what you mean. I just... Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This is purely off the marketing materials, and I mean, you come from a place of having read the book, but I could easily see how, just looking at this, at the tail end of the miasma that has been this decade with like licensed characters and nostalgia baiting, and seeing this trailer come out with the fucking Chucky fighting a robot and going, geez, us Christ, and maybe not seeing that it's necessarily a commentary on that stuff.
Yes,
rather than a celebration.
Yeah, that is
multi-million-dollar celebration.
That is so fair, and this is also me to walk back so that you know that I'm not completely like oblivious to it. I've said to everyone who I've said you should read the book, you're gonna have to like fasten your seatbelt and cringe through some stuff. It's part of like the reading is that you're like, okay, yes, we get that you like these things, like fine. So I get it, and I understand the things that make people feel weird, but I feel like there's a willful ignoring that it could be something more than what it's being packaged as.
Yeah.
And that annoys me, because it feels on purpose. It feels like, no, you know what? I want to hate this. I want to be mad at this.
Yeah, I feel that.
Do you know what I mean? And that bugs me.
That's always exactly.
I just hate it.
Because I want to.
No, because it makes me hate it.
That's fine. We're just not. We're not going to agree on it, but I understand.
Well,
I definitely get it.
When the film comes out, we will do it. We will have a discussion.
I definitely understand the.
I'm going to sit in the theater and go, ha ha, boo.
I thought you were going to say more shit when my brain caught up to that. Boo was the ending.
Nay, sir. I disagree.
Oh, fuck this whole world.
Oh God. So.
You know who else likes this shit? You know who else is he wants to have his cake and eat it too?
Who?
Guillermo.
Yeah, but at least he makes his own stuff.
Guillermo. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
I love Guillermo del Toro.
He was a delight. I'll get to it later. He was at the screening I was at, and he was a fucking delight.
I love him. No, don't get me wrong.
A Del Toro light.
I nodded vigorously.
Guillermo del Light.
I love him. I really do. I love everything he's about.
Yeah.
I love the way that he approaches stuff. I love the way he talks about stuff. I just haven't 100% always loved the actual movies.
I think this is...
Wait.
I am with you.
Stop.
Oh, we have to like say...
Play the theme song.
Right now, or are you going to like wait?
Now. Welcome to Reasonable Beef. This might be like 30 minutes into the episode or something.
Well, you could just take this part though and put that in the beginning.
Welcome
There you
to
go.
Reasonable Beef. My name is Tim Kish. I am joined today, as usual, by...
Why do you get sleepy every time you start to introduce
Because
me?
I'm waiting for you to pick up
You
the
want me to like
energy.
jump in on it?
Yeah, you want to
okay,
go...
try it.
Greetings, madam!
Let's try it again. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to Reasonable
Dom! Dom's here! It's me! Sorry about this. Sorry about the audio there.
And our guest here with us.
Nick. Oh, I say it.
I like that you did the prayer hands.
I just have to do
Nick.
Nick.
That's great.
So
keep,
clutch
keep
to
doing
say my
visual
name.
jokes, guys. That's
I'm
fun.
only going to do visual. I'm actually gonna draw everything that I feel about the movie.
He has a book, a little notebook of his opinions with sketches.
Nick, what'd you think of the cinematography?
Ah, yes. Wow. Fascinating. Anyone who isn't seeing this, what a dick.
Is stupid.
What a dick. And Nick Oldershaw is here. He saw the movie.
He
I
did.
saw the movie. I saw the
You
movie
saw
a
it
long
early.
time.
Yeah,
I
way
saw it a
early.
month. I went to a little BAFTA screening.
Whoa.
And he
BAFTA? Is that movie's about baths?
No, it's
No,
Anything involving a bath? 'Cause
That's
There's a
his-
bath in this movie.
Oh yeah. No,
I
it
had
is.
it a
It is
little.
the.
If there were bath awards, this movie would win a bath.
That's
for
true,
me.
for
A BAFTA.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the only contender.
And-
I saw it at a bathtub screening.
a BAFTA.
What does that mean? That's where I just put it on my computer and sit in the bath.
no, actually, it was-
Celebrities come and I hand them awards. They approach me in my tub.
they outfitted because the movie was actually like funded by the Bath family, and so the ArcLight.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, Jonathan Bath was
We're
there.
going
The ArcLight.
Oh, was he?
Did they invent the Bath family baths?
The Bath family. You might have. You
Wow.
probably had one. And they outfitted the ArcLight.
I read about the wife
who?
of Bath.
Oh,
Oh, her, yeah.
wait. I don't
I'm
even.
sorry, please.
Is that
see
the
this
Bible?
bit? No, it's for the Canterbury Tales. I mean, if you're an English student, it might as well be.
I'm not gonna finish the bit about the lie about the bathtub. I was gonna tell a big lie about a bunch of bathtubs, but that's not gonna happen anymore.
There was quite a lot of bathtubs
Nick's
in
here.
this.
Yeah, a lot of tubs. They put cilantro in the tub so that he would he'd say spicy.
Oh, you have to do that.
You gotta make sure he's flavored right.
He needs 5.6 salinity
Yeah.
in his bath, and also put a little adobo in there. Spice it up with some
It would be really
some
funny.
chopped
Yeah,
carrots.
fry the veggies
Yeah,
first. and then-
Michael Stuhlbarg was just like trying to cook. He was like, yeah, he survives at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. You have to make sure that the bath is very hot.
And
Hang
put
on.
a little chicken stock in there as well, and put it to a rolling boil.
Yeah.
And you got to shave his skin and remove his bones. And call me when you're done.
We saw The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
I love man.
Del Toro.
It is really
Guillermo
good.
del
Like-
My Neighbor Totoro.
Well, apparently
There was a little girl who called him that. Yeah, she couldn't pronounce his name. What movie was it on?
Pacific Rim. It was the little girl who plays the girl when she's little.
Yeah, so he let
Palindrome roll.
he let her call him Totoro.
Aw,
Yeah, it was really sweet.
that's so cute because he's a
He let her
huge
call him.
mystical cat.
Well, dude, so it was so funny. So when he did the Q&A after our screening, and they had like a little director's chair for him to sit in, he comes out and goes, oh, I thank you for the chair, but I'm afraid to sit in it because my body is very powerful, He goes, I don't want to break
That's
your
amazing.
chair.
That's a great way to frame it.
All right, so you saw the QMA at the Baptist
Q-
QMA
Question
and answers.
Yes.
at the ArcLight.
Yeah. And it was...
tell us about it. What did you do there?
I was just, I mean, the thing that he said, I will say the film is like, I was even thinking this because like the film, it's not a children's movie. It's definitely an R-rated film,
Certainly not.
but I felt like I was watching a children's movie. Like it feels like it's earnest in the way that a children's movie is, but not necessarily child appropriate. Yeah. And he talked about like making a film that was just like wholeheartedly earnest and uplifting and like going for a happy ending, even if it doesn't seem like the most plausible ending, which definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
But he goes and he says, I just think we're at this place in time right now where like everything has become so cynical, and we needed that for a while.
Totally.
But now we're in a place where like emotions and sentiment is like the new punk rock, and we should be making films that are like more. At least he
that
wants to
really
make films
swung
that are
around in
more
my
uplifting.
favor, didn't it?
I see that. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that a lot about like earnestness being like the new, the new like me, like it's the new me.
It's just do the damn thing.
Do the damn
fucking thing.
That being said, I disagree with this movie. I think that it's pretty saccharine. I think he's trying very hard to achieve a feeling out of you while not actually earning it a lot of the times. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fish man not being characterized or given really any agency to express himself, or the things that he wants or the things that he desires. Everybody seems to imprint themselves on the fish man in this movie, and he never seems to consent to really anything that happens to him. They say that he's intelligent, but he never seems to give affirmative to things that are happening. He only seems to like parrot things back. And I think that fact alone kind of spoils the entire like joyous overreach of the movie for me. Like I can't really get into the romance between him and the mute woman for that reason.
I did want to see a little. I remember there was the point where, and we talked about this, where it was very affecting when she's doing her silent plea.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
we must say.
Yeah, I cried a couple times in this movie.
I was not. I didn't think I was. Because when that part started, I was like, oh no, I don't really care yet. Like, or I don't really believe that they're connected yet. But still, it got me. It really got me.
Right.
And that was that thing where when he starts that scene, now he knew we have to say this stuff out loud. And there's something powerful about having someone out, the person who it's being aimed at, being the one who's repeating it, who's saying it. That's genius. But when it started, I was like, I can see the bones. I see every piece of the skeleton of what you're up to here. But by the end of that scene, I was crying.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fishman thing's interesting. I think that, like, because I think what he's definitely doing is this sort of harks back to, like, Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon movies, where, like, it's just, I thought it was interesting where, like, the subtext of those movies is always, or even with, like, something like King Kong, the girl falls in love with the monster, but he's got a girl falls in love with the monster movie, but he explores it as, like, an actual, like, he takes the relationship seriously. It's not subtext, it's text. They are in love with each other. Which is,
I know it's going to seem like, and I thought about this more. I was a little weird on it when we left. And this is a hard one that this is being very, very hyped up. This is, I've heard only amazing things about this, and it's so up my alley that from when they announced this movie, I was like, this is for me 100%. So I think I had a high bar, and in a little bit, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that was it though. But I've thought about it, and I did really, really like it. Like I don't know if I could say that I like loved it, or maybe it needs to grow on me a little more, but it's really fucking good. But that held me up for a lot of it. Was like, and I think you put it well, Tim, where it's like, I think it might be because he does sort of still act like an animal for a lot of it, that there was parts of me that couldn't buy into them
actually
like
having a romance,
fucking each other. Like that was where I was a little.
I bought into them fucking each other. I didn't buy into her having any kind of further connection to him beyond what she's projecting onto him that she thinks is happening there.
well,
I mean, like, yeah, she does. He does show like a little bit of a bond to her, but like it's always through her eyes. We never see anything from his perspective. And I feel like that's really what this movie needed for it to ultimately.
I think I
do
wanted
wanna
more
say,
human out of him a little.
Yeah.
people do treat her like an animal as well. I think that's sort of a parallel. The way that Michael Shannon talks to her, the way everyone has to speak for her. Like, I mean, when he's like interrogating her in his office, he treats her not so dissimilar from the way people sort of treat him. And I mean, like,
And he's so fucking good.
He's great.
God is blowing me away.
He
in
just
this.
he literally, like, I don't know
Great
if I've ever
character
seen him
actor.
in something where I didn't think he did a great job.
Yeah.
He just walks in and he shows up for a second and you're like, oh,
he's phenomenal.
He was amazing.
And he's just everything a villain is, and he's just
Yeah,
such
he's pretty
such
great in
a
this,
villain.
man.
And I think it's very interesting how much time we spend with him. Like
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
him a background and giving him like, oh, he's got like a family and he's got everything going for him. He's got money, he's got it all, but there's a rot in him that just makes him miserable. He doesn't know what it is. No one knows what it is. He's just small.
Well, I like that. That was the part that kind of resonated with me, where I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to care about him." But
Right.
you
Yeah,
kind of made me
you do.
care for a second, where when he's on the phone, and it was the whole thing of like, I can't be thought of in a negative way. Like I need people to think that I'm the man, that I'm
Right.
doing a great job, and that I always get stuff done. Like I love that weakness of like. He crumbles
Yeah.
if he's not the best guy.
And I think that that's something that a lot of movies can learn or need to learn to like humanize your villain in that way. Maybe not even necessarily make us like him, but make us understand him. And
Right.
I mean, that was so refreshing. Ultimately, I don't love the way his arc ends because I do think that
Yeah.
it should have ended with him being healed.
Yeah,
it
that's what I
should
was
have
saying to
ended
Tim.
with the forgiveness and of just like, to heal the rot inside of him.
Now there was so when at the end when Fishman's walking up to him, I was almost positive. I was like, oh, you thought this was gonna end with this like monster battle and he's gonna get killed, but like no, he's gonna walk over and heal him and he's gonna realize, oh shit, because the "fuck you are a god" line, that's great, could have applied just as easily if he had been healed at the same time.
Sure.
Oh fuck, you are a god. But that said, and I said this too yesterday, like oh fuck, you are a god, and then getting your throat slashed open and die, like that's
Right.
the coolest shit in the world. Like it's pretty great. So cool.
Well, yeah, exactly. And there is this like great subtext of like no mercy for fascists. Like, look at this guy does not deserve mercy. Like he just kills and just destroys everything he's a part of to advance himself.
Yeah, you shouldn't
He doesn't
have-
deserve it.
Right.
And it's like I totally get that, and I get that that's very like a 2017 sentiment that it's kind of good to hear.
Yeah,
in a
like
way.
we're not gonna forgive this person anymore.
Yeah,
They-
like
they die.
we're sick of this.
Yeah.
And Guillermo's he's a pretty left kind of guy. He's a politically active kind of fella. I just wish that it wasn't so saccharine, and it's very saccharine, and I think that
It's a hairline, you know.
sure.
Like I just think you were the toe over where I was maybe right before that line where I was aware that I was watching a storybook.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
very,
Well,
This
he
movie
talks about that.
is undone by its music. Like everything, well, not undone, but
no,
like,
I know what you mean. Made by
Really?
it is completely made by its music.
okay.
Like every scene, if you think about the scenes without music, none of it works. Like very little of it works on its own. But when you apply the music, it adds this kind of like floaty, dreamlike quality to everything, which works
Yeah.
at times. But I just don't think that I personally was feeling.
But I think that all of Del Toro's movies hinge on him nailing the aesthetics because they are at their core. Even like his films that are critically lauded, like Pan's Labyrinth, it's a very like simple, borderline underdeveloped
Yeah.
story. And he talked about that with this movie as well. He's like, this started as a fairy tale that I would tell my kids. Oh, it's like the M. Night Shyamalan thing, right?
right.
But I don't know. I also like, and I guess that's why I'm able to forgive it for its flaws, is because I'm like, well, I mean, it feels
Yeah.
like a fairy tale. These feel like fairy tale characters.
That's the Abe Sapien movie, right? There's no way that that's not where that idea came from.
It doesn't act like Abe Sapien.
Well, look, I
Doesn't act
understand,
like
I
him, but
understand
it-
that, but there was also, well, you know what? It must go further back than that. It must really be his obsession with Creature from the Black Lagoon, right?
Yeah, I think
because
that's what it is.
he's trying to introduce with Abe Sapien. Because wasn't there a romance subplot between Abe and
In the second one,
in the second one
the
with the elf
princess.
princess? Yes, very much as supposedly a Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing of this two disparate creatures from different races, whatever.
I love just the we never
loves Black
see
Lagoon.
it, but the hinting of we found him in the fucking Amazon.
Yep.
And he was worshipped like a god. And
Right.
they would send him. They would bring. And was he the only one?
Well, we
I
as
thought
we
there
know.
were. I thought there were more of him. I thought there
I
were
think
more.
the line that captures my imagination is when Michael Shannon's character says, it's Michael Shannon, right?
Yep.
That's when he says, like, I had to drag him up from the Amazon and we didn't quite get to like each other
Yeah.
along the way. I'm like, there was a whole adventure there.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole
He already
thing.
hates him. They've already
Like, what have they gone through together? Yeah, like, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
God, and there's a lot of really smart touches in this movie. He's a very smart, intelligent filmmaker. I think this might just be a little bit too optimistic-y for me. I mean, I've used the word saccharine 16 times.
I don't know if what you're smelling is the saccharine optimistic thing so much as because it's funny. So I'm gonna make a weird comp here. I feel weird about a lot of like Christopher Nolan movies because it feels like there's an arm's lengthness to the emotion stuff, to
Right.
the heart of it, right? It feels like he's sort of always observing. And I think that you get a form of that when you do this storybook thing, where it's obviously not arm's length. It's a hug. You're up close, and you're supposed to just be like, oh, you cry. You're gonna cry with these people. We're all up in their faces. This is as human as it gets. But there's something about that when it's so performancey or play-like or mystical that it invites you to step back a foot.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Unless, but like, I guess what I'm learning to do is like, you can, if you give in, if you just like
Yeah,
give
of
yourself to
course.
it. And that was even me, like when she and the creature have a physical relationship, which I agree, that scene where they're talking about how they had sex, it goes on a beat too long.
Yeah, there's like two too many lines.
One
about
too many,
the penis.
a little too many cute comments from Octavia Spencer. But like, I was like, that was weird, and then I was like, wait, I just like gave myself to the movie, and then like actually the second time that you see them consummate, why am I using such like
Consummate.
I'm trying to be like so respectful of the fish man. All right,
No, I know what you mean.
I don't want to say when
It
she
is-
fucked the fish boy.
Fuck that fish man.
It does inspire you to want to be
and
like,
and I just
fuck
like
the
gave
fish.
myself over to it, and then I just fucking I was like, I love that he even had the
Much
balls
like
to
when
do
she
that.
finally gave herself to the fish man, and
Yeah.
you just felt the long eel of pleasure
Right.
enter your dark cavern, and
Right.
it filled you with
Right.
such strength.
I wish
she
that my
reached
dick-
up and she pulled down his love lever.
Yes. I wish that
Love leather
His
also works.
love lever.
I wish that my dick had a crusty shield that opened up and
I mean, it could if your parents would have never
if they hadn't circumcised me.
Circumcised
That's
you.
what
They had
happens
a
if you're
crusty
not
shield,
if
yeah.
you're not circumcised. You have a crusty fish shield.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
crusty
Bummer.
fish shield.
yeah.
That's a real bummer.
They have to. Have you never seen a like a bris? They use a fucking wooden mallet.
It's true. They crack it open like lobster. That's why. That's why. Yeah, that's why you can't eat lobster.
Oh, it's right.
I also thought
There's some salt in it. Some sea salt.
Oh God. No. The
the moil is
To
butter.
be.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I think it was him staying as squarely as much as he was an animal for a lot of it.
Right.
It made me feel
Horny.
it
Ready
just
to go.
I couldn't stop thinking about
Crusty dick shield.
The crusty dick shield. I don't know.
It was funny
you know,
though. After
speaking
they
of-
have that conversation, though, the next time he's on screen and he like stands up,
You're looking.
instantly.
You
You're
gotta
like
find
you're
it.
looking at that.
Yeah, it's
at
like,
that
what's
little patch.
How's that thing come out? I want to know like how's it like.
What's it look like? Yeah,
I want to know what the head looks like.
it probably looks like his finger.
I imagine. Yeah, probably.
It's like a moray eel. Just like
It's its own. It's its own little.
Just like do
creature.
you remember that bad joke eel meme from a couple of years ago? That's exactly what the head of his dick.
yeah.
That's exactly what the head of his dick looks like. Speaking of heads of dicks, though, I didn't like how. Excuse me. This could have been a PG-13 movie easily, and I get.
I think I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I get that that's, I guess, Guillermo del Toro's signature, that he just sometimes just puts crazy graphic violence and shit for reasons.
Well, no, it's not so much the graphic. It's the what's the word? What do you when something's compared like or when something's next to it? It's the like the
Juxtaposition.
dissonance of
Sure.
of fairy
Right,
tale
the juxtaposition
to,
between the fairy tale and the gratuitousness. You're right, and that's exactly it. And clearly the fairy tale was the dominant motif, so there's no reason we needed to see Michael Shannon banging his wife or rip off his own fingers or
Well-
finger a dude's blood hole. It didn't really feel
No, but it does. But that's
dudes.
but that's
Say
more
blood hole.
Yeah.
But that's more like a true fairy tale, like a Hans Christian Andersen or a Grimm's fairy tale. That's exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
Is they have like
That's fair,
lurid
and I
details.
understand. I think that's one of those things where I would maybe just
That was my favorite part in Cinderella when the king bangs his wife and puts his necrotic dead fingers over her mouth and tells her to be quiet.
Okay, sure, not that. But if you read Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, like there are some really like like about the glass going into her feet, or there's like sexually explicit stuff
And
with
the
her and the
octopus
prince.
queen that looks like Divine, who will be alive in 100 years. It's like, that's a weird line.
I need a big gay purple lady.
big gay purple lady.
oh,
It's like there's like poison breast milk in the original version of Snow White.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel that.
who?
I feel that, and I understand
the
that.
guy in the forest. I don't. It's
That's
been a
an
long time.
I understand the objective truth to
It
that.
would tell me there was like an eighth dwarf that was just like their feeding dwarf, like breasty. Again, they all.
They got him hooked up to dwarf technology. Like,
Please, God, it wasn't my choice for this to be my characteristic.
breasty.
What a bummer. this
Everybody's
whole-
got something.
I sleep. He's mad. He's got 8 tits that we feed from.
Shut up, breasty. We all got talents.
This is fucked up. This is all fucked up. I think that there's a horror in the fact of something happening that is often enough. Sometimes you do need to see it. Like I had some people took some issues with some stuff in like Stranger Things where like you see the one guy who gets killed and at the end of it, like you watch it for a little while and people are like, oh, that's fucked up. But I like, those are those things where I'm like, oh no, like they want you to be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But there's, again, it's all a hairline with this shit. That's what's so
Well-
fascinating. Cause I didn't like the cat thing.
No.
That like annoyed me. It was like,
Richard-
why did we need, you didn't even have to do that.
You didn't. I agree. I feel like the Richard Jenkins lines justifies it a little, where he's like, he's a wild animal. It's not his
yeah,
fault.
and
Like
he was
that
super
helped a
cool
little
about
bit.
it, but I was angry for him.
Yeah.
I do want to say
That's because you have
A beautiful animal that I love and cherish every day.
toxoplasmosis in your
Right,
brain from
right.
cleaning your cat's thing.
I hang out with my cat all day. I work from home. She's
she
with
gave you
me.
that virus. You
She's
had the
with me
virus
all
in your
day.
head.
We talk.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I want to see
Excuse me,
the
man.
Michael Shannon sex scene. I do want to say, I think that's actually an important scene to have in the film because it's the
think I
juxtaposition
agree.
of how they love. look at the way he loves versus look at the way the monster and the girl are in love. I think that's like really what that scene is supposed to be.
It's also
is,
just
like,
a
setting
further
up.
portrait of his fucking twisted, man of the house life that he has, and like the how it is. It's like looks all real nice, doesn't it? Like the kids love
all
him, the
fine.
wife loves
There's
him.
not
She-
like this weird underbelly where the wife's like, secretly a lesbian or like.
Oh, she like takes her boob out for him and everything.
kind of-
That
I-
was weird.
Yeah, it was
I will
weird.
say that.
I don't
to
think
weird.
so. I kind of love that. No, because every time we see the 50s man aesthetic in a movie, there's always like a seedy underbelly, like one of the kids is like killing animals or something, or the wife is, she's not happy. When we see it and it's like, oh, this is an atomic family from like the 50s pseudo,
60s,
and
yeah.
it works perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's at the core of it is like this gross patriarchal, like domineering of everything.
And that's also like for what it's worth, not to sympathize with him because you're not supposed to, but it is, again, it's just giving you reasons.
You
It's
can
giving
a
you
little bit.
reasons, okay, maybe you can like sympathize, but you're not supposed, you don't approve or whatever. It's that,
Right.
it's that thing, right? It's giving you're getting to look at like, oh yeah, this is fucking just unhealthy for everybody. Like he's holding up this lie about himself. And again, that comes with the pressure of like, I need to always be the guy who's fixing the thing.
Right.
And like, if he's not, that's his whole identity and he fails. And you hear, and for a set, that's what, I love that scene. I will say this much. There's a lot in this. And the more I've thought about it, I've warmed up more than the watch, honestly. But the scene where he's talking to the general and he's like, what if a man does everything right all the time and then messes up one time? He fails one time. Does that make him a failure? Or is he still a good man? And then like the general, who's like the even farther up authority on that way to be a man, is like, yeah, no, if you fail ever, I'm gonna bury you. Like your life is
Right.
over.
You disappear from this universe.
You're
There's a
nothing.
U-shaped hole.
Yeah.
God, that's a great line.
Well,
And,
and
it's,
I
and you're
think-
like, oh.
I think the most important line of that is the political line where he says, the decency, that's something that we export because we don't use it.
Right.
Where it says that's he's being very honest about what the military is, where it's just like, honor and decency. It's like, no, we do shit for a political
Right,
goal
yeah.
and an end, and if you're not getting it done, we have no use for you.
That line moved on a little quicker than my brain is good at, because when he said the decency thing and it's an export because we don't use it, I was like, it's an export because we don't. So what, he's not saying that we don't.
He's saying more stuff.
And then, oh, fuck yeah.
We haven't even talked, because the other really impressive, because we're talking a lot about Michael Shannon. We've talked
Yeah,
about
we should talk about
Shannon's
Sally
ass.
Hawkins. Michael Shannon's ass.
Yeah.
No.
That's what we should talk about.
Yeah, we should talk about that fucking
Two
upsetting.
nipples on the back, but did you notice that he's got a breast ass?
Yeah, it's very.
Tim picked it out right away.
I saw that breast ass. I know a breast ass when I see him.
But like
deep enough.
That
enough.
angle was a bummer.
Yeah.
Like the high up in the room,
Yeah.
looking down at
yes,
them,
but
slamming.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think it's great.
Bummer.
This movie like crams like almost like five, not really five, because Octavia Spencer's character we don't see a
Crams
complete arc.
5, maybe 6 fingers in.
But like we follow like 4 pretty complete arcs in this movie. But my favorite character after Sally Hawkins' character is Michael Stuhlbarg.
I almost called him the professor, but he's not a professor.
No, he's
the
this
artist.
double agent. Yeah.
Oh,
was he in The Artist?
Oh, who's the other guy's name? I'm talking about the artist, the guy who dropped.
Yeah, her
the guy
gay
who
best
dropped.
Richard
friend who was
Jenkins?
yes,
Yes.
Richard
Yeah,
Jenkins.
I love Richard Jenkins.
But you like
Michael
the Russian.
Stuhlbarg.
Stuhlbarg. Yeah, he's one of my favorite like character actors right now. He's
And I really liked his arc because the whole movie he's hyper observant and he sees everything that's going on. He sees Sally Hawkins' character.
Right, yeah.
Like immediately he sees it. He sees that his Russian agent with a gun, and then yet he still meets with them at the end anyway. He knows he's going to die, but he doesn't see on purpose. He has blind patriotism to the Soviet Union, and that's what gets him killed. And I'm like, that's really cool. But also,
that's good shit.
why is that in this movie? Because like the main arc of the movie is not about like the military and service and loyalty. It's just this like love story. I guess every movie could be that those multi-layered.
can have
That's
it could be
in
about
there
a lot
for
of
sure.
things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that shit.
Yeah, that's true. But the main arc of the movie is this
Yeah,
love story
totally.
beyond all of it. But
I want to see it again.
there is a commentary on the Cold War of like the United States and
I love that.
Soviet Union
Yeah,
criticism of both.
We don't
which is
need
good.
we don't need to learn. We need the Americans to not learn.
Right.
Which you could flip vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. That's cool.
I don't know. I just like that they're like. I just liked how complete. I guess with the exception of the Fishman, who I still don't mind because there's something about like I think it's nice to be whatever this movie means to you. It can mean. I think it's okay to have a character you can project on a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Especially-
you need to. I think it's asking you to do some work, which is always a hard buy sometimes.
Well,
but like,
especially like when he talked about it, it was funny. He like actually started to cry during like when the questions got a little too involved about like
why is this movie so bad?
Why are you fat and gay?
oh, what the
I'll take my question off the air.
But I think like whatever the fishman, I think he sort of almost wants the fishman, the asset, I should call it the asset, to sort of be like an avatar, which like can be good or bad depending on.
It does look like the Avatar creature.
It does look like it's blue. It's got nipples on its butt. You know, we've all seen them. Tim's seen it.
A lot of nipples in. Okay. You can't just mindlessly call back to things. Like Avatar people don't have
you're
nipples
the
on their
nipple guy
butts.
now.
You're the
You
nipple
like
guy.
nipples,
You were
and that's
mindlessly
it.
putting nipples on everybody's heads.
That's true.
So I think that it's actually okay that like the creature is sort of like just this. I don't know. I don't mind it. I think it's okay. But I'm amazed at how many characters in this film are like just complete and fleshed out and have like
Yeah.
It's true.
it's remarkable.
Well, I mean, and there is the theme throughout the movie of the other, where her best
absolutely.
friend is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
black woman, and she's friends with a gay man, and she's a mute, and it's just all the ways that society has rolled these people underneath the wheels, kind of, and everybody faces.
The dehumanizing.
Yes, the dehumanization.
People without a voice.
But at the same time, it feels very much. That's true. People without a voice, but it feels very much on the nose.
It's
like
super
a lot
on
of
the
times.
nose.
It's so on the
When
nose.
he squeezes the guy's hand, like, I'd like to spend time with you. What are you doing, old man? Hey, get those black people out of here.
That did make me like a little.
Now, what were you saying? Did you have a good impression of me, and now you have a negative impression of me? Oh dear.
It's almost like that's this part of the movie.
Yeah, it still doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I know, it didn't bother me.
That
It just
scene in
was-
particular, it's like, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but like, like maybe do a little less on the
subtle
nose.
a little, but I again, it's like I noticed that, but I wouldn't say that I was directly bothered. It's just
Yeah.
I was like, because I mean, and that's what's hard. This is why we always circle into like, what is it up to, and how do you judge how do you judge something for what it knows it's doing, and it knows it's doing this, so you're kind of like, all right, okay.
Yeah, I don't think
Like it knows he absolutely was trying to dramatize everything to this big degree, and it still feel human, and the reactions still be small or human, but like the movie is making real broad strokes for sure.
Yeah,
which is cool.
He's never been a subtle filmmaker. Like not
Sure, yeah,
ever.
yeah.
And I really like the way the main character, I like her age. I mean, she's probably
Yeah,
in
man.
her late 30s, the actress.
Yeah, I think Sally Hawkins is in her late 30s, early 40s.
Early
Late
40s,
30s,
yeah.
early 40s. And I think that's really beautiful, because there's just like the suggestion that none of this has ever happened for her before. Like she's an old maid. She's literally a maid,
Wow.
like working at a thing. And when she loves with the passion of a very young girl.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is the first time anyone's ever understood me or seen me through like fresh eyes. And there's something very beautiful about that, about finding the love like later than you think you should.
Well, you were talking about this yesterday as well. How interesting it is, just how much, and you could see it's they're planting the seeds before the fish monster plants the seeds. But it was like they were making it like, oh no, she's a very sexual person.
She masturbates to the egg timer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
she's-
Yes. Absolutely. I love that they do establish that she is a sexual woman, and that she's like, her body has needs. She's not like this.
Yeah.
And there is a tendency to take people that are disabled and desexualize them and pretend like people in wheelchairs don't also want to come. You know what I mean? Or like
they do. They
like
totally
blind
wanna
people
come.
aren't
You put
also-
that beautifully.
Yeah.
You
People in
worded that
wheelchairs also
beautifully.
want to bust nuts. And I really think that's something that we don't touch on enough in movies. I think it's very refreshing to see.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I
Yeah.
don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird at all.
No, it felt very new. I was like, nice.
like yeah. But also associating the sex with the water at
Yeah,
the same
totally.
time, like
Yeah.
she fills up the bathtub.
It is a very smart move. Like it is all like it's pretty fucking airtight as far as what it's doing. Like that's the thing is all
it's
my
all very telegraphed. Like if you're paying attention.
Well, yeah.
to
Yeah, but
I
that's-
think I dig that.
That can be fun. That
Yeah.
can be really fun when a movie is like set up so
agree.
mathematically.
And it makes you feel like you're like, oh look, that's that theme from earlier. Like some boop ba doop.
Yeah, I mean, like, you should want to understand you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
feel
I'm
like
not saying you shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing. I'm just like, I feel like sometimes people are, and I can be this way with movies too. Where it's like, oh, the themes are so on the nose. It's like, good. You should be understanding what you're watching.
This is a hard one. Again, I keep saying hairline, but it's true, especially with something like this that is so stylized. It's you're walking this fucking tightrope the entire time. Yeah. Tightrope.
I think it's got a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
95 or something.
Yeah, it's gonna keep coming down to my biggest beef with it being the nuts and bolts of like how we are introduced to the fish man and how human he is or what exactly is his level of understanding, like, because it's tough because you make it like he is very human and then he like eats the head of the cat and runs away like and you're like, oh, he's not
but then he watches a movie.
yeah, he's like not a guy. He's like he
also watches movies how I watch movies.
He just stands up.
Just let the light pour into you.
Yeah, but I guess it's like Tarzan, right? He can learn. Tarzan was like an animal.
but
Tarzan was living with the monkeys.
Tarzan didn't like bite the head off of a house.
He probably did.
animal.
You just didn't
Probably
see
did.
it.
In the Edgar Rice Burroughs one.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
You think Tarzan
You'll never
wasn't
read it, so I
biting
can just
animals?
lie.
He always bit.
He had to bite animals.
that
It's the only
loads
way
of
to
time.
survive in the
Yeah,
jungle.
it's true. You bite animals all the time. I just watched you bite like 3 animals between pieces of bread.
Oh,
Also,
shit,
like
a
we
minute
do
ago.
we also do see him. Yeah, he kills the first cat, but then he likes the other ones. It's like
Yeah, and
we're
I get it,
literally
he
seeing
learns,
him learn.
but it does feel like that thing of we could have gotten there if you had like we didn't need to see the cat die first.
Yeah, it's funny. Normally that bothers me, and it didn't. It bothered me when you see him the cat's body drop.
dude, what the fuck?
But then when Richard Jenkins is like, "It's okay, I forgive you," like I felt.
Well, and then he like and people like I always am. I just have a
lucky.
hesitation to yeah, when he says you're lucky, like that. I don't know. Everybody laugh.
It is.
But like,
it is grim, but for whatever reason, I'm
Yeah, I
usually
don't know.
very
It's
sensitive to mean
macabre
shit
stuff.
with animals. But I do think that it was there for a reason.
It didn't feel mean.
Although, how many times have we seen misunderstood creature eats a house cat and then panics because somebody gets mad at it? I feel
just
like
happens to
that's
be the second
I feel
after
like
it's Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, but
yeah.
I feel like this has happened a couple times before. I feel like it's a pretty common motif.
But that's you could have. It's fine.
Should have been a bird. If it was a bird, we wouldn't be mad. If it was a little bird,
Well, if it was a bird and you saw the body without a head,
no, you just see the feathers float.
if you saw the feathers
You
float,
just see little feathers.
that's if you saw the cat hair just sort of fluttering, I would have been like, oh my god, like he ate the whole thing. But there's something so like just wicked about he bites the head off and then drops.
it sounds
the
like you have
floppy body.
toxoplasmosis infecting your brain.
How dare
And
you!
you like, there's literally a biological function in you that makes you want to defend cats.
I will kill the fish man.
Tom's like, can we wrap this up? I gotta go home and touch my cat shit. I have to do it every day at 2 p.m.
The fish man will take me before the cat. Yeah, I don't know.
Ah, man, the scene
it's
where he
good.
makes
Hey.
Richard Jenkins pet his head, I cried. I don't know why I did, but I did.
He gave him hair.
He gave him hair.
He gave him hair back. Isn't that nice? What a good fish man.
He was a great fish man. He really was.
He could heal.
I also saw the gill thing coming, right? Like we knew
course.
something
Oh
was
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I
He found
liked-
her in the river.
Oh, I got so excited when they went to the theater in the movie that like they live on top of. That was the theater we showed content in in Toronto.
Toronto.
Oh,
The
it was?
Orpheum.
See, I didn't know if they shot it in Baltimore. I guess they didn't.
No, I don't think so. I think the stuff outside of their apartment was a backlot. It looked like, at least to me,
Okay.
it looked
'Cause
like a
I thought-
backlot. But that theater was. I'm almost certain of it. Like
You're
I'm
probably right. I feel like there's an Orpheum in Baltimore. I might be wrong.
Maybe,
I don't think it was
the
even- it's not even
Orpheum
called
in
the Orpheum.
Toronto.
no.
It's called the Orpheum
it
in the
was.
movie, but there is
um,
an Orpheum in Baltimore. I
Yeah,
think.
there totally is.
Or in DC. All right, here we're gonna do predictive text movie review for The Shape of Water. This is where we ask our movie, ask our phone what it thought of the movie.
No.
Oh, Jesus, I messed it up. This is where we ask our phone what we thought of the movie. The phone was there. Phone watched the movie with us. Hey, phone, what do
true.
you think about the movie? All right.
Mine
Mine did not quite work out. Dom, what does your phone think of the movie?
Phone, what did you think of The Shape of Water? The Shape of Water was a good one for me and my dad and my sister and my kids, and we are very good here.
Okay, mine was The Shape of Water in the world in a good way. You can get a good night's sleep on the couch.
Well, it's just she sleeps on the couch.
She does
right?
sleep on the couch. In the beginning, she's on the couch.
That's true. Okay.
Your phone saw the movie? All right. I think this is beautiful, honestly. I think this should actually be the tagline for the film. The shape of water is the best way to reach the ground, and he is the best way to reach the world.
You could easily replace like Christ with the shape of water, and that would just be like on a poster in a Christian school somewhere.
Christ is the best way to reach the ground.
And he is also the best way to reach
It's the world. You
That's
gotta kneel.
beautiful.
All right, we're gonna do. Thank you very much, phones. We're gonna put that away. We're gonna end this on a tree-headed critic.
What's wrong with you today?
Yeah, tree-headed critic is when we all say the word, we all say the one word, and then we go around in a circle until it's a complete thought about a movie. So we're gonna go from Dom to Nick to Tim to Dom to Nick to Tim to Dom, and then so on.
Fish,
Don't
Think,
we
care.
but
we
Do.
care.
period.
Sure. Why not? Fish don't think that we care, but we do care.
Period.
Oh,
Thank you very much for listening to Reasonable Beef. If you like what you heard here, please go to www.patreon.com/reasonablebeef. Give what you
Eric.
can. Any amount of money gives you access to Bonus Beef, which is our monthly bonus episode where we talk about lifetime's pursuit of everything's. And then go listen to it. We're going to do a new one very soon. Very, very, very soon. Very, 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 very soon.
next one's Force Awakens. Or, I mean, the Force, the Jedi, the Last Force.
That's the next week.
Oh wow,
Two
awakened.
Two awakened. And Dom, do you have anything to? Oh, Nick, thank you very much for being our guest.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything to plug?
Oh no.
You got a bullet hole to plug violently.
Yeah, you got.
I don't know. I think
blood hole. You gotta plug some dude's blood hole.
I think that I have a thing. I can't remember what it is. It's fine.
You could watch Content, which is my new short that's on right
Yeah.
now. Nick is in.
I'm
Yeah.
in con. If you want to see my beautiful face with the long hair and Tim wearing Tim's
my
clothes.
to my surprise.
You know that he showed up, right? And I was like, is this okay? He didn't. This wasn't a plan. It's not like
Yeah.
he sent me pictures and I was like, yes, Tim's jacket, wear that.
That's perfect.
I thought that I did do that.
No, you didn't. You showed up at the apartment wearing all of Tim's
Well,
stuff,
you
and I went,
told me-
is that Tim's hat?
Yes.
You told me to look bedraggled from the future.
It's me. It's me, Tim.
I went right to Tim's closet.
Bedraggled.